Good day, everyone. We are here to discuss and explore the case of People of the Philippines Plaintiff Appeal versus Farhad Hattani E. Abogasan and define how forensic toxicology helps solve the case and find who is responsible for the crime. Now, let's proceed to discussion. But first, Ms. Brinques defines the persons involved in this case.
In this case, the persons involved, Priscilla Borak, was a victim of illegal practice of medicine in rape of the appellant Farhad Hattani E. Abogasan. Wilma Borak, the sister of Priscilla Borak, another victim of illegal practice of medicine. The mother of the victims, Agustina Borak, she witnessed that her daughter Priscilla in the appellant was in the same bed, and she was disappointed of what he sees. Maura Fronteras, the mother-in-law of the appellant, her daughter Marita suggested her husband to the victim Priscilla to cure the illness. Josefina Borak, a registered nurse. The sisters of the victims, she witnessed the medicine that inject to her sisters.
To explore more, we have Ms. Modak to discuss the story behind the case.
In the morning of July 6, 1979, Agustina Borja visited her comadre Maura Contreras and requested malunggay leaves as medication for her 16-year-old daughter Priscilla, who had high fever and lost bowel movement. Upon learning that Priscilla was sick, Marita, Maura's daughter, introduced Agustina to her husband, appellant Hertin, whom she said was a medical doctor. Maura suggested that her husband treat Priscilla and Agustina agreed. Appellant and Marita went to the Borja residence where he examined Priscilla. He gave her tablets to take and administered 2 injections, one in the morning and the second at noon. After each injection, Priscilla would feel dizzy and fall asleep. It was Appellant's diagnosis that Priscilla was a drug addict and required further observation and treatment. Appellant offered to attend to Priscilla at his house and again, Agustina agreed in the belief that her daughter was a drug addict. In the evening of the same day, Priscilla was fetched by Appellant and Marita and was brought to Appellant's house. Again, Priscilla was given an injection which caused her to sleep. When she awoke, she realized that she was naked and her entire body was in pain. Appellant was seated on the bed and was fondling her private parts. Shocked, Priscilla called for her mother and tried to get up. Appellant, however, punched her on the chest and forced her to lie down. He pressed a pillow on her face and injected her again, causing her to fall asleep. When Priscilla awoke the second time, she found Appellant in bed with her. He was naked and fondling her private parts. The pain all over her body lingered. When Priscilla touched her private parts, she saw blood stains on her hand. She tried to stand up but she was too weak. Appellant gave her another injection, rendering her unconscious. The following morning, Agustina went to fetch Priscilla. Upon reaching the Contreras residence, she went straight to the bedroom where to her great dismay, she found Priscilla and Appellant both asleep and naked. She hurriedly dressed up Priscilla and brought her home. When Priscilla woke up, she noticed she was already home and her mother was crying. Priscilla remained dizzy with throbbing pains all over her body. When talked to, she was incoherent. That evening, Priscilla's oldest sister, Josefina, a nurse by profession, came home and saw Priscilla looking very weak. Her mother, who was crying, narrated what she had witnessed that morning. She also told Josefina that Appellant was in the other bedroom treating another sister, Wilma, whom he also diagnosed as a drug addict. Josefina immediately proceeded to the bedroom and saw Appellant about to inject Wilma. Josefina saw the open bag of Appellant, which contained empty capsules of Dalmane and empty vials of Valium. She inquired on the need of the injection and Appellant replied that a second shot of plain distilled water was required to cure Wilma of her drug addiction. Josefina told Appellant to stop but her persisted. Only upon threat, she would call the police with Appellant's stop. Appellant and his wife then left the Borja residence. The following day, Agustina and Josefina brought Priscilla and Wilma to the Philippine Constabulary headquarters at Camp Crame, Quezon City, where Josefina and Wilma gave their statements Priscilla was physically examined by a doctor whose medical report stated that Priscilla's hymen and deep healing laceration and that subject is in non-virgin state physically. Several needle puncture marks were also found on Priscilla's arms and buttocks. A physical examination was likewise done on Wilma, which showed that she too had a needle puncture, as shown in the medical legal report.
Now, we have Ms. Jantan to discuss the facts.
So, let's discuss the facts. The case involves the appellant, Farhad Atani E. Abul Hassam, who was convicted by the Regional Trial Court, Branch 105, Quezon City in criminal cases number Q-11867 and number Q-11868. In criminal case number Q-11867, appellant was charged with legal practice of medicine in violation of RA number 2382, also known as the Medical Act of 1959. The information stated that on July 6, 1979, in Quezon City, appellant who was not registered physician examined and treated two individuals, Priscilla Borja and Wilma Borja, for compensation. In criminal case number Q-11868, appellant was charged with rape committed on the same day and placed as the illegal practice of medical charge. Forensic toxicology plays a crucial role in cases involving allegations of poisoning or substance abuse. In the case of the people of the Philippines versus Farhad Hatani E. Abul Hassan, it could help determine if toxic substance were involved in the alleged crime, provide evidence of the cause of death, and potentially identify any suspects or contributing factors. It can also shed light on the circumstances surrounding the incidents and aid in the delivery of justice fairly and accurately.
For the next discussion, we have Mr. Landres to discuss the issue.
Issue of this case, the main issue is whether the trial court erred in finding appellant guilty of illegal practice of medicine. But on this evidence, there is no doubt to convict the appellant guilty of his action.
Mr. Landres also discussed the evidences found in the case which resulted to convict the appellant.
Evidence found of the case which resulted in conviction of the appellant, Dalmin, volume, Ugadon, syringe, medical legal report, handwriting, identification, documents state the fake physician which is the appellant.
In this time, we have Mr. Lumarda to discuss the decision of the Regional Trial Court.
Good day once again. In this moment, I'm gonna explain the ruling of this case, but I will be focusing in the ruling of the original court, which is the Regional Trial Court. The court finds the appellant guilty beyond reasonable doubt of illegal practice of medicine in violation of RA 2382, otherwise known as the Medical Act of 1959, with a fine of not less than 1,000 pesos nor more than 10,000 pesos, with subsidiary imprisonment in case of insolvency or by imprisonment of not less than 1 year nor more than 5 years, or by both such fine and imprisonment. The court decision was based on the paraphernalia that has been searched by the authorities, specifically the Constabulary Anti-Narcotic Unit. Drugs like Dalmain, Valium, and Mogadon, and the handwriting identification report that justifies that the handwritten that was in the prescription file was by the appellant. With these evidences, the court has established its decision that the appellant is guilty and really committed the crime and must be convicted and penalized.
In the defense version, the appellant tried to twist the story that was presented by the witnesses. Several alibi exist in the appellant's version of defense, but he failed to refute his alibis. Now, we have Mr. Dipan to discuss what is the importance of the medical legal report in this case.
Priscilla was physically examined by a doctor whose medical report stated that Priscilla had deep healing lacerations, and that subject is in non-virgin state physically. Several needle puncture marks were also found on Priscilla's arms and buttocks. A physical examination was likewise done on Wilma, which showed that she too had a needle puncture, as such in the medical legal report. So, what was the importance of the medical legal in this case? A medical report shows that the victim injected several punctures around the buttocks and arms. And also within the investigation, they found out that the appellant was using Dalmin and Valium, which will be defined to my member.
In this juncture, I will be the one to discuss what was the importance of toxicology in this case. This case shows the importance of the existence of forensic toxicologists by knowing what kind of substances that were injected to the victim. Forensic toxicology is the analysis of biological samples for the presence of toxins, including drugs. The toxicology report can provide key information as to the type of substances present in an individual and if the amount of those substances is consistent with a therapeutic dosage or is above a harmful level. Now, in this case, the medical legal report shows how the victim was injected to those substances, namely Dalmane and Valium. And in addition, it was stated in the case what were the side effects of those substances that the appellant injected to the victim. First, we have the feeling of unconsciousness. Second, the presence of dizziness, which leads to the victim being victimized by the appellant. Furthermore, those substances that were entered into the victim's body are not poisonous. In fact, those are prescribed medicine for those people who are suffering from sleeping disorder, anxiety, or any mental health problems. But despite the fact, those medicines can be harmful also, and it has negative side effects. As to clarify, Dalmane is a medication used to treat a certain sleep problem or what we call insomnia. It may help you fall asleep faster, stay asleep longer, and lessen how often you wake up during the night so you can get a better night's rest. On the other hand, Valium is a medication that treats anxiety, seizure, muscle spasm, or twitches. It can also reduce the symptoms of alcohol withdrawal. It works by helping your nervous system calm down. Now, in the victim's situation, she was diagnosed by the appellant as a drug addict, and according to the appellant, it needs to be treated by injecting those substances that I mentioned. But unfortunately, it has negative feedback or response to the victim's body, and it leads to her to be victimized through rape by the appellant. In conclusion, we realize that the existence of forensic toxicology plays an important role in the field of solving cases related to the poisonous cases. Now, at this time, we have the final decision or final ruling. The Supreme Court affirmed the judgment of the Regional Trial Court finding appellant guilty of both charges.
We are the Group 2 presenters.